This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. So nice to be back home in the Gateway City. Let's kick off a 4-game series. It's the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Also so nice to see Rick Horton back with us. Ricky's here. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Busch Stadium and the broadcast booth. Ricky, last time we were here, it was a different looking team, but since that time, a lot of major league debuts. What's your take on the Cardinals returning back to action?
Well, first, it was a great road trip for the Cardinals with all those young players really acquitting themselves well, and that bodes well for the future of the Cardinals. But, you know, honestly, you want to be back home and you want the regulars back as well. We get one back today in Yadier Molina. The Cardinals, of course, always play well at home, and this is a game we weren't sure we were going to play because the Reds had a positive test, but they're here and we're ready for Cardinals baseball.
So one of those main roster moves for the St. Louis Cardinals, you've got Yadier Molina back in the lineup, activated from the 10-day IL. Then Matt Wieters placed on the 10-day IL. He's got a left toe situation, and then Nabil Crismat option to the alternate training site. So if you're going to have Yadi behind the plate, you might as well, why not? Just put Waino on the mound, right?
Well, those two go together. They certainly do, and they've been going together for a long time. Adam Wainwright, particularly good at home in his career. We know all about how good the curveball is and how good the stuff is and how terrific his leadership is. But at home, 2.84 ERA, that's a pretty good season right there, 106 wins. Now, he has not pitched very well against the team he's pitching against tonight, the Cincinnati Reds.
Paul Goldschmidt is in the lineup. A lot of the regulars are starting to funnel back in this lineup. He's been there since day one. Goldie hitting .349 and among the league leaders in baseball. Striking gold. Studio takes a look at that when we come back. Gorgeous night for baseball. It's wonderful to be back in St. Louis. Erica Weston is with us, Jim Hayes, Rick Horton, Dan McLaughlin. Yes, we are here at Busch Stadium. We're in the booth at Busch. We're not calling a game off a monitor. It's beautiful. It's 80 degrees. Great to be back with you.
All kinds of good things. You know what July 22nd was? The last time you and I did a game together. So it's good to catch up with you, Dan.
Nice to see you.
Listening to you and watching you, but it is so much better to watch the guys in person, and we're glad that they're home. And there's no fans here yet. We do have our cardboard cutouts that have joined us, and so we at least have them. But what we really hope for is that the Cardinals continue to mend, Danny. It's been a hard few weeks for them. 17 games without playing, and I think they acquitted themselves well again on that road trip.
I know that he's had some great moments, great games, but the first game back after a 17-day layoff to give you 5 innings and pick up a win, move past one of your great friends, the late Bob Forsch, 3rd place now all-time in Cardinals history and wins. Last Saturday, that's one of the great games I think I've ever seen from Adam Wainwright.
Well, a lot of people have asked me since that day, you know, why Adam Wainwright the first game back? And I said, why would it be anybody but Adam Wainwright? If you've got something important going on, you need a guy who's leading the way, and Adam has always done that. And think about this. During the road trip, Adam's leading a team and some of the other veteran guys without Yadier Molina in the clubhouse. So Adam's leadership became that much more important.
There's David Bell, his lineup with Joey Votto at the top. Nick Castellanos, who's already hit 9 home runs. Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez. Moustakas, Akiyama. Van Meter will serve as the designated hitter. The switch hitter Galvis and Tucker Barnhart, also a switch hitter. Reds really defined, though, Ricky, with their pitching. Starters have been really good this year.
Only the Cleveland Indians have been better in Major League Baseball than the Reds.
What do you think? Odd to see Joey Votto at the top of a lineup? Come on. That's 2020. What the heck?
And he's done it some in his career. One of the things Votto's working on, and it started in spring training, not striking out. Apparently didn't strike out one time in spring training. And he's always been a guy that's been thinking about on base anyway, so why not put him in that leadoff spot?
So a shift on the right side for Joey Votto. Always entertaining and fun to watch in his at-bats. One of the great players in his era. Certainly one of the great hitters in his era. Third baseman for the Cardinals, Miller, well off the line. And the outfield shading him a bit towards left field. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. First time we see the Reds.
And it's a good Reds team. There were some times in spring training I was thinking about the players that they have, Castellanos and Wright, and what their pitching staff, their starting pitching has become especially. I was thinking maybe they're up there in the teams you might think being nationally champions in 2020, and I don't think that's out of the question.
They were one of my favorites because of Sonny Gray, who we'll see tonight. The addition of Castellanos, Moustakas, and then when the league said, well, we're going to add a DH, they improved defensively with that, I thought. Pulled to the right side, backhanded by Goldschmidt, and a low throw to Wainwright. Backing up on the play, it's Yadier Molina. Good stop by Goldschmidt, and hustling down the line, it was Votto, also hustling to back up Yadier Molina.
Well, Goldie got half of it right, and he did it in good fashion, laying out to catch this, but you're going to throw the ball chest high. And when your pitcher is 6'7", chest high is, well, a little higher than that. And of course, he's on the ground, spinning, trying to make that throw, and it was just too low for Adam to be able to catch it on the dead run.
It's ruled an error on the play. And here is Castellanos, who homered last night in Kansas City. And he's hitting .272, those 9 home runs, and he's driven in 20. What a hitter he has turned out to be, huh?
The power numbers are there for him. He's not a defensive player. You don't really think about him as a really good defender, and that's part of the reason he's kind of moved around a little bit. There's a liability there. But when you have 9 home runs and 20 RBIs in just 22 games, and you have 5 doubles to go along with it, I mean, you can take some bad defense along with a good offense.
And the 0-1 pitch to Castellanos. Hit out of play. Many years with Detroit. He played third base, played the outfield, traded to the Cubs, didn't disappoint in their stretch run, almost lifted them into postseason play. Became a free agent and one of the last signings of the offseason, and a good one here with Cincinnati. You would think in that ballpark he is going to put up big numbers in the Great American Ballpark.
Got a good start.
I'd say so. And the 0-2 pitch by Wainwright got in just enough. And a fly ball out to Dexter Fowler. He's under it and makes the catch. And that's the first out. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Cardinals tonight, O'Neill in left, Carlson in center, Dexter Fowler in right field. Miller is at third, Tommy Edman at short, Colton Wong at second, Paul Goldschmidt at first, and Yadier Molina. Good to see him back, and he's behind the plate. Mike Shildt has really done a nice job trying to balance all the innings, the outs, the injured, the sick, and the healthy.
Well, you're playing chess when you're doing that, because you've got to think a move ahead and another move ahead and 5 moves ahead. And it's not just Mike Shildt, it's his entire staff that's doing that. But the reality is his entire staff is only half of his staff, because he's had several guys that have been out as well who tested positive. And you know, you think about that, Dan, all of the work that those 4 or 5 guys that aren't here were doing, somebody else has to do it. Otherwise, they were wasting their time being on the staff. So that's important stuff, and those responsibilities have to be passed along. And Mike's done a great job of not kind of breaking under that pressure.
Curveball and a base hit into right field. Votto to second. He'll stop there. I want to go back to the staff just for a moment, but guys like Oli Marmol, his bench coach, and some of the others.
Well, if he didn't have Oli Marmol, I think things would have been a lot tougher for him in the last 3 weeks, because Oli is really his logistics guy. And Votto not able to go first to third because he had to wait for that ball to get past him. So that's a bit of a break for the Cardinals on a ball hit hard to right by Winker, who's been red hot, by the way, for the Reds. But Oli Marmol is kind of the understated guy that just gets a lot done for the leader. And we all know people like that in business. They're not the frontline guy, but they're the guy that, or gal, that gets things done. That's what Oli Marmol is to Mike Shildt.
Now Suarez, we know he's got power. He hit his 40th home run of the season, remember, last year, right here at this ballpark. He's got 3 so far this season. Runners at first and second. Waino would love the ground ball. have a chance at that double play. Career start number 28 against the Reds. A 1 pitch. And I find it remarkable. Hasn't faced the Reds at Busch since September of 2016. How does that happen?
That is odd. And again, his numbers not great against Cincinnati. ERA has been high. Record under 500. Very unusual for Waino. Of course, that spans a long time. A lot of different Reds lineups.
Sure.
Different managers.
There's your ground ball, left side, but bobbled there by Miller and thrown away. Run will score. That's Votto, and the second error committed by the Cardinals here in the first. Looked to be almost a tailor-made double play, and instead it stays 1 out and a 1-0 Cincinnati lead.
Well, a sloppy inning so far for the Cardinals defensively. Waino should be out of this inning. It could have happened many ways. Votto shouldn't have been on base. This could have been a double play. Well, now at least 1 out, and there's nobody out as the throw airmails Paul Goldschmidt, and the Cardinals a little tight in the early going here.
It was the first error on Goldschmidt earlier in the inning. He only had 5 last season, fewest of any first baseman in the National League. And now the error on Miller, and it cost Wainwright. Of concern, I would think, Ricky, would be that, you know, you want to keep the pitch count low with anybody, but especially Wainwright. 17-day layoff, then gave you 5 innings. You just don't know how deep he can go tonight.
So the Wainwright going first out of the gate really had something to do with him preparing for that too. And one of the things that you'd say about him is he did as much as he could do to keep stretched out during that time.
Fly ball shallow left, and a diving catch by O'Neill. Gets up, fires to the plate, and it's not in time. The run will score. They do get the out on a diving catch by Tyler O'Neill. Makes it 2-0 Cincinnati. RBI number 7 for Mike Moustakas.
Well, these are going to be unearned runs, but this could have made the inning a lot worse had O'Neill not laid out to make that play. How about him bouncing up and throwing a strike to the plate too, make it a little closer than I thought possible. So the point about Waino, Dan, is he was throwing 4 or 5 innings even during the kind of the time off, and like Yachty, he knows how to stay ready.
Ground out by Akiyama. Couple of runs in the top of the first for the Reds. Sonny Gray to the mound to face St. Louis when we come back. 1 hit, but a couple of errors by St. Louis. And the Cardinal lineup led by Colt Wong. He's starting to heat it up. Then Tommy Edman, he had a 3-hit day in game 1 of the doubleheader. Paul Goldschmidt, he's been consistent since day 1. Matt Carpenter, grand slam, game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. Brad Miller probably never wanted to leave Wrigley Field. Tyler O'Neill, Dexter Fowler, Yadier Molina, great to see him back in. Dylan Carlson. Sonny Gray 4-1 and dominant along the way.
45 strikeouts, leads the National League, and in those 5 starts the ERA low, and he has a terrific mix. This is his Hyundai pitch arsenal. The fastball, curveball, slider are both very sharp, Dan, and so he's got 3 top-notch pitches, and he was really in the second half of the year last year. I just felt like he was as good as anybody in the National League.
Agreed.
Maybe Jack Flaherty better, but Sonny Gray right along with him.
It's the first time the Cardinals have had multiple errors in a game, not to mention an inning. They did not make 1 error, by the way, in that series at Wrigley. Not 1.
So that first inning, that first half of the first inning, top of the inning, was the rustiness that I think we thought we would see when the Cardinals came off the 17 games on their quarantine, and unfortunately it showed up here in the first inning.
Fly ball left, and it will drop foul in front of Winker. Sonny Gray has figured it out again. Remember,
Yes.
early on in his career, really good.
Yep.
Kind of ran into a hiccup with the Yankees. They tried to change him a little bit, it seems like, and reunited with a former pitching coach, and it's oh so good.
Isn't it funny that players can go to the Yankees, and the Yankees, of course, have great tradition. And, you know, you think about being a part of a team that includes, you know, you look at the club roster and it's got Ruth and Gehrig and DiMaggio and Mantle. Yeah, sometimes it gets in your head and you kind of lose who you are.
With the Yankees, he was 15-16 and an ERA about 4.5.
And that's a fastball, a two-seamer that came back over the inside corner.
And the first strikeout. Tommy Edman. Fastball and a strike in 94. Started out with Oakland, did Sonny Gray. Came up in 2013. 112 starts and had an ERA about 3.5. Ran into that bump in the road with the Yankees. Brief time there. Now with Cincinnati, 15-9 and a 2.75 ERA. I just look at any time this day and age of baseball, ball is jumping everywhere. You have an ERA under 3, you're doing something right.
I'll say.
Look at the movement on that pitch. Strikeout of Tommy Edman, making quick work of both Wong and Edman here in this first inning. The Reds defensively around the horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Winker, Akiyama, Castellanos in the outfield. Suarez, Galvis, Moustakas and Votto on the infield, and Tucker Barnhart, he's a good one behind the plate. Paul Goldschmidt with 2 outs.
Oh, he's painting right now. 94 on the black, making it look easy.
Sets up inside. Hits his spot again. 0-2. In, out,
it's a
on
clinic.
the black.
It's a clinic, isn't it? Hey, there's no mercy in this league. I'm sorry you've played a lot of games in 8 days or 8 games in 5 days on the road, but hit this.
People were asking me about 17 days off, and I said White Sox don't care.
No,
Cubs don't care.
And they shouldn't. I mean, they have to compete, and the Cardinals don't want them to. That's not how it works.
1-2 pitch.
Thought Matt Carpenter said something interesting in a Zoom call on that road trip. He said, really, we've got nothing to lose because a lot of people understand how hard it is to play this game, and if you don't play it for 3 weeks at all, and I mean not even play catch, swing a bat, you can't do anything. You're basically stuck in a hotel room that to be able to come out and have your timing is almost too much to ask. So he said, honestly, it's just gravy for us, whatever we're able to do.
Line to first and taken there by Votto. On the breaking ball, Goldschmidt lines it to first, and a 1-2-3. Sonny Gray. 2-0 Cincinnati.
As we move to the top of the second at Busch Stadium, Yadier Molina was one of a group of players who tested positive for COVID-19 when the team was in Milwaukee. He's also the first to make his return. John Mozeliak saying Yadi had a lot of things working in his favor. One, he was asymptomatic. Two, as Mo put it, it's really about what you were able to do to stay ready. Mo said Yadi had the facilities at his house to do a lot of the things that other players couldn't during quarantine to get baseball ready. Mike Schultz says Yadi couldn't stand being away from the game. Schultz said Yadi told him he was so excited to play. Danny, he could not sleep last night.
Unbelievable that he's back out there, but no surprise. Jimmy, want to ask you too about Paul DeJong and Carlos Martinez. How about those two?
Paul DeJong is going to go to Springfield to get some at-bats. We're told you could see him as soon as Monday. Carlos had a side session. The Cardinals are trying to figure out if they want to stretch him out to put him back into the starting rotation or if they need him as a reliever. A lot of games, a lot of days, Danny, and a lot of moving parts.
You got it. Thanks, Jimmy.
I was so excited to watch both Yadier Molina and Paul DeJong take at bats here yesterday. Of course, we were here covering the game at Busch Stadium that was on the road at Wrigley Field on the radio side, but there was a simulated game going on in the field. Matthew Liberatore came over from Springfield and threw several innings to Yachty and Paul DeJong. And it was just, I mean, I'll tell you, I was elevated. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I was trying to talk about the game that was going on in Wrigley, but I also liked the game that was going on here.
Well, I got to ask you about that. Is Van Meter grounds out to Paul Goldschmidt, because you know I love watching Liberatore.
Yeah.
I love watching DeJong.
Yeah.
And I love watching Yachty. So who stood out?
Well, I would say they all did fine. I mean, Liberatore was, you know, his breaking ball. He's got a big breaking ball. He's having trouble commanding it. But, you know, good at bats for everybody, really, both Yachty and DeJong. And what I also noticed is several of the coaches were back here working with them. And now everybody was spread out, as you would expect in a workout like that. But I thought Yachty looked strong. That's how I would describe it. He looked strong and ready to go yesterday, so no surprise he's playing today.
Switch hitting, Freddie Galvis. And maybe we should explain that to fans, because on television, on road games, we are in a studio,
right?
Not at Busch Stadium. And you work the radio games for road games, but that's here at Busch Stadium. So you're getting all the baseball you wanted.
Triple header yesterday.
Right. So you're calling the game off a monitor.
Correct.
For the Major League game.
I was looking to my right doing that.
Yep.
And then I was looking to my left watching Yachty and Paulie
pretty cool.
Swing the bat.
Gotcha. Freddie Galvis hitting .242.
At one point on the broadcast, I said the wind's blowing out towards left, and I wasn't sure which stadium I was talking about.
Shift on the right side. Outfield is straight away for Galvis. 8th place hitter. And a pitch in the dirt. Wainwright just finds a way to get it done. I know it's cliche, but boy, it is oh so true, isn't it?
Mike Maddox has a phrase that has become one of my favorite new phrases. He says that Major League Baseball players are elite adjusters. If you get to this level and you stay here, you are elite at adjusting. And Adam's been around a long time, and that was a long home run.
Hitters adjust too.
Yes, they do.
And a long home run. Freddie Galvis, his 5th of the year, to make it 3-0 Cincinnati. So 2 runs in the first, and that home run makes it 3-0 Reds.
Middle in. Didn't really sink the way Adam had intended. He was looking to throw a little sinker back over the inner part of the plate and just left it up a little bit. It was a little flat, and there's the result.
And that is tap foul by Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitter. 184 the average, 1 home run, and he's driven in 5. Grounder that's yanked foul. .400-footer by Galvis. 3-0 Reds. And that'll be a foul ball. So what's your takeaway on these games so far? In a general sense, just watching the league. Now the Cardinals are back in it. You're watching it closely. The no fans, the way the game's played. What do you think?
I'm glad it's back. I'm glad everybody's trying. It's not the same, but we talk about players being elite adjusters. Fans of the game have to adjust a little bit too. And I'm partly that too. I mean, I'm of course in the game, I've been in the game a long time, but I'm a fan of the game. And you just have to realize that, you know what, you're going to have a DH. You're going to play 7-inning doubleheaders. You're going to start with a guy at second base in extra innings, and we have to do that now. In fact, some of those rules have actually been very good for the Cardinals. Thinking about the presence of a DH to be able to rest players in the midst of all their doubleheaders, and also the 7-inning game, so you don't have relievers throwing 8 innings every day.
Right. I mean, September is going to be very tough to get through for the Cardinals. There are a number of doubleheaders still left.
As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a chess game for John Mozeliak and Mike Schilt to figure it all out.
Back-to-back singles. Votto singling to center field. So he's reached a couple of times. First time on an error, and now a base hit to center, and now Castellanos. And this becomes a very important at bat early on in the game. He could lose one in a hurry, and all of a sudden you're down 6 against Sonny Gray. Fly to right first time up. Inning 294 with runners in scoring position. And Waino, being the kind of guy that he is too, Ricky, understands the importance of also trying to get as deep as he can in this game, even if you're trailing, because there's some tired arms out there in that bullpen after what they just went through.
Yeah, plan A is to perform well, but there's always a plan B and plan C. In fact, it's my key of the game today is to have the presence of these two guys, the Toyota key to the game, veteran influence, and it goes beyond the scoreboard to me. You know, are the Cardinals interested in winning baseball games? Absolutely. Are those two guys? You better believe they are. But their presence, how they handle everything, matters. If Adam has a bad day, and if Yadi's rusty, and they go in the clubhouse and sulk, that could be disastrous for the team. And, you know, they're not going to do that. They're just not.
Fly ball again to right. Fowler under it to make the catch. Runner tags, and the throw going into Wong. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. Well, to your point, one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now is Jesse Winker. Winker, single to right, run scored back in the first.
He's averaging over 90 miles an hour off the bat in terms of the exit velocity, which is about 15 miles an hour slower than the ball that Johan Oviedo caught.
Woo.
About chest high, or maybe neck high, really.
Face high.
Yeah, I mean, that was a scary moment. It really was for me. I mean, my heart was beating. I know his was. I was stunned by his calm reaction to it.
Little smile afterwards.
Yeah, everybody else's reaction wasn't as calm.
No. 2 outs, 2 on. Ground ball taken there by Goldschmidt. So he's able to get Castellanos and Winker and keep this a 3-run lead for the Reds midway through 2 as we're back at Busch. Home winning percentage in Major League Baseball since 2006, when this ballpark opened up. The Yankees, the Dodgers, St. Louis, and the Boston Red Sox, and they all have a lot in common. These are all teams that get to postseason play. They like win at home.
Like to play in October, win at home. It is interesting, and we may have some numbers to prove this, that during 2020 the home field advantage hasn't quite been what it's been before. And what I'd say about that, Dan, is that's a compliment to the fans, that you matter, not just here in St. Louis, but across the game of baseball, that the home winning percentage is a little above 500, but not much. And that's unusual.
There's something about a fan getting up cheering, or 44,000 of them doing that, and getting behind Adam Wainwright.
Getting behind your guy and getting on the last nerve of the other guy.
Could you imagine normal season for the Houston Astros on the road? Would be a good example.
The
of
only
that.
people taking it out on the Astros right now are players.
Joe Kelly
and others. I mean, I honestly, that has been a story this year, and you feel for those guys, but it is what it is, and you can say they behave themselves into it, but you're right, and I don't think fans are going to forget that either. I mean, they'll wait till 2021 or 2022. We saw the reception in spring training several days for the Astros players.
Home field winning percentage, by the way, the lowest since 1917 currently in baseball. The 2-1.
I knew you'd have a number to back that up,
because you're always thinking, Ricky, so I've got to have those notes ready. I got to have them ready. I've been up since 4:30. I said, oh, I'm working with Ricky. I
Well, that was just 2 hours ago.
Yeah. AM.
Hope you had a good nap, Danny.
AM, Ricky.
Oh, okay.
AM.
All right.
Maybe I was just getting in. No.
No.
Yesterday, the grand slam, you could see that coming off of Alec Mills on a 2-1. And with that home run with the grand slam, minimum 80 at-bats, that made it a 500 average. 500 best in baseball history for Matt Carpenter.
I was happy for Matt, but I was sad I actually still haven't heard your call. I'm hoping you said grand slammer.
Yes, I did. Just for you.
Thank you.
Sorry
I missed it.
I said, let's do it, the first one, and I let it rip. Because I knew you were going to go nuts.
It's Wrigley Field. I mean, you've got to do it.
Oh, man. You got to have fun with these games. You got it. You know what? And I agree, there's no fans. It's a different game. But we were starved for sports.
Yes.
And it's back, and it should be a diversion for fans and for everyone. I mean, it's fun to have it back.
Isn't it nice to have a conversation? Hey, why is KK in the rotation? Or what are they going to do with John Gant? And how are they going to handle these young pitchers?
There's a base hit into center. Carpenter will stop at second.
And we can disagree on things that aren't life and death, Danny. It's just sports, and I think that likeness of that and the kind of the fun of it, I think, is something we all need.
Well, somebody said to me the other day, a fan, just a great sports fan, they were very upset over Fernando Tatis swinging on 3-0 with a grand slam. It hit the grand slam up by 7. And we just were having a sports conversation. And I said, the beauty of this is that we're actually talking about the game. We're actually talking about the game.
We're talking about the game, and we're disagreeing about something that's not going to,
It's not life or death.
It's not a big deal. By the way, I wonder if you and I agree on that one. We haven't had a chance to talk about that. I believe, I'll get my 2 cents in first. There's nothing wrong with him swinging the bat.
I got no problem with it anymore.
And it's not correct to say that that's an old school thought, because look, I got my old school card at home, and in the old
card carrying member.
I'm also a card carrying member of the pitchers union. So it didn't bother me in the slightest, because I've been there. You're 3-0 with the bases loaded. You want the guy to swing the bat because maybe he'll line out somewhere. I mean, you're lost. I mean, you're going to give up a run if you throw a ball. So him swinging the bat is helping you, of course, unless he hits a home run. But the point is, it actually, I just do not think it's an affront to the other team at all. I don't get it. I don't know where that came from. And I'm a big Fernando Tatis Jr. fan anyway, and I may be colored by that, but I don't care really who it is. I think that was okay for him to swing. And you know what? You may disagree, or others may disagree.
No, I had no problem with it.
Yeah,
I was fine with it.
But it's okay if there is disagreement.
I had zero problem with it.
Did anybody have problems with the White Sox hitting 4 home runs in a row off of a guy that was struggling, couldn't throw a curveball over the plate?
Right.
Roel Ramirez.
Tyler O'Neill with a high fly ball out to left. Winker with the catch, and runners will stay put. So 1 away, runners stay put at first and second, and it brings in Dexter Fowler. Introducing Quick Pick MLB Rallies, new game where fans predict outcomes and compete for cash. Restrictions apply. See rules and enter at MLB.com/QuickPick. You know when he became one of my favorite players? He had played 1 game. It was his debut. I believe they opened up with the Cardinals last year. He was deep in the hole, and we had StatCast on him, and he threw it 94 miles an hour to first, literally. And I said, that guy is fun to watch. And he played with a little flair. He was awesome. And he's only getting better. Fernando Tatis Jr.
Flair with respect for the game that was taught to him by his father.
Yes.
And you can't find anybody in the organization that doesn't say that he's an absolute pro who is way beyond his years as far as maturity is concerned. Another reason to like him.
Here's a 1-0 to Dexter Fowler. inside. Well, Sonny Gray struck out 2 in the first, had a 1-2-3 inning. This inning started with a walk by Carpenter, Miller base hit, O'Neill a flyout, and now 2-0. Dexter Fowler's been seeing a ton of pitches in his at bats. Average at 273, couple of home runs. Homered the other day at Wrigley. Fowler 7 for 14 against Gray in his career, and now 3-0. The Taco Bell take, most pitches seen per plate appearance in the bigs this year. The Cubs leading that list. Boy, did we see that. A lot of walks. Cleveland, New York, the Yankees, Tampa Bay, and St. Louis in the top 5. Draws the walk and the bases are loaded. So the Cardinals have something going here. And there are folks that are on their couch right now giving him a standing O.
And if cardboard cutouts could only speak.
Or stand, or clap, or cheer. Yadier Molina back in action. The breaking pitch, and he did go. Could not hold up. Boy, against Sonny Gray, this is where you just want to get one run in.
Get something. Yeah, you have to get something.
Pretty good numbers for Yadi with the 6 grand slams and an average of 321 in his career. Shoots it foul and out of play.
Trying to go the other way with that. You know, in some ways the atmosphere probably doesn't feel much different for Yadi today than it did yesterday. No people in the ballpark.
Sure.
You're hitting off a guy that's throwing hard, and I mean, it's just another day of work for Yadi. I think he's ready for this.
And the 0-2 stays away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I've actually been wondering, Dan, I don't know if you've been commenting on it or not, you and Jimmy, thinking about the difference for some of these young pitchers and young players that the Cardinals have had, and it's what, been a dozen of them. They've come to the big leagues, but there's no fans in the upper deck. There's no, I wonder if the pressure just hasn't felt quite the same to them.
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about that. One ball and 2 strikes. Yadi base hit into right. Carpenter being waved in along with Miller. Throw to the plate, and he is saved. Yadi back in the lineup. Drives in 2. How about Yadier Molina? Unbelievable.
What a great moment. You know his teammates appreciate that. They've been given the air high fives since they came back a few days ago, but to have their leader back, not just playing, but producing. Incredible. Here's Yadi. Talked about he's going to take him the other way, and he does it one more time. And very classic Yadier Molina. Drive to right. And a hustling Brad Miller goes to the inside part of home plate, standing up for the Cardinals' second run. That was a good adjustment by Miller. A little 2-step.
His first at bat in 22 days. No rehab assignment. Just taking, as you said, the extra at bats yesterday.
So he's got all that, whatever that extra equipment is in his house. I'd like to know what that is. I mean, does he have like prospects that come over and throw in his basement? Does he have a stadium in his? What's he doing?
It's ridiculous.
Timing is so important for these guys. And how do you have it if you're not doing it?
Incredible. So runners at first and second, and now Dylan Carlson. And you know, this is a moment that would have been a big one for him. His first home at bat, which normally for a rookie would be a standing ovation, especially one with this type of resume.
And I think Cardinal fans already understand, anybody that's seen the games that were on the road, that 148 is not indicative of what Carlson has done since his recall. He's hit a lot of line drives. He looks very comfortable all 3 outfield positions, and Cardinal fans have been waiting for this guy.
He has been seeing a ton of breaking balls. I mean, already the respect that he's been getting from the league, the White Sox and the Cubs, not seeing Ricky many fastballs. If he does, they're out of the zone.
Even with breaking balls, you get the sense that he makes adjustments. He's had a couple of 2-strike hits on off-speed pitches where he's kept his hands back. So I think he's going to be a complete player. Changeup has fooled him a bit. I think he's had more trouble with the changeup than the curveball.
Especially with the bases loaded, he's
right.
a little anxious. Now he's 3-0. Why not just turn him loose and pick up your first home run, put the Cardinals on top? 1 out, 2 on, and a 3-0 pitch. About 17 balls, 18 strikes.
50%. Yeah, that's unusual for Sonny Gray. He's a strike thrower.
Shift on the right side for Dylan Carlson. And Carlson hits a high fly ball out to center, again deep. Fowler will tag up from second to third. And runners at the corners.
Several at-bats just like that for Dylan Carlson, where he's just missed it, got underneath it, hit it right at somebody. I like seeing him in the lineup every day, frankly.
And to me, he'll be in there.
Yeah.
Keep doing what he's doing. Here's Colton Wong, who struck out looking back in the first inning. One of the things Gray does, he doesn't throw a lot of balls in the zone. Cardinals, if they're patient, maybe they get a lot of walks, get the pitch count up, get to the bullpen. We'll see. Only in the second inning and 37 pitches now for Sonny Gray.
But what he does get is he gets chases because his pitches are so sharp and they have such good movement. So they may not be in the zone. That doesn't mean they're not strikes. Eventually.
0-1 on the ground is second. And Moustakas, former Brewer, makes the play. Yadier Molina back in action, making his presence felt. With the bases loaded, serves it into right, drives in a pair. Cardinals on the board, and it's 3-2. Welcome back, Yadi.
Of the third inning. Now Cincinnati had 3 postponed games earlier this weekend, going back to last weekend as well, due to a positive COVID-19 test. Unclear who the player was, though they did have Nick Senzel placed on the injured list. They did return to play yesterday with a doubleheader in Kansas City. Mike Shildt told us yesterday that he did send manager David Bell a text the other day when he found out about the positive test, saying he was hopeful it was just one player and he was certainly there if anything was needed. And he said, just first and foremost, we're glad it was just contained. I don't want what happened to us to happen to anybody else. And clearly, we don't want them to miss any games, and we don't want to get backed up either. Also, some news on this around the league tonight. The Mets also postponed their game tonight due to 2 positive tests. They have also officially already postponed their game tomorrow against the Yankees. Dan.
Okay, Erica, thank you.
So glad Erica brought that up about Mike Shildt contacting David Bell. Of course, they used to work together, those two, but one of the things to add to that, and just what a nice moment and what a nice leadership moment for Mike Shildt. He said, look, I'm a human being first. He says, I'm competing in this game, but that's just the right thing to do. I mean, I'm caring about people, and you know, the way he cared about his team on that last road trip too, Dan, as they took their 41-car caravan up to Chicago. And we're very thankful to the folks at Enterprise for arranging those cars. He took the last car and he said, give me whatever's left, and he wanted to go last, so if anybody had any trouble on the highway, he could pick them up. And that's again, what leaders do. They serve.
And that's yanked foul by Suarez. Good folks at Enterprise. They've been affiliated with the Cardinals and helping out the Cardinals in what is, let's just say, the most unique of circumstances.
I'll say.
Two pitch. Well, you can see Suarez is pulling off a lot of pitches. Cardinals have stayed away.
Well, the word on Suarez is he's getting closer and closer, and he's been better of late, but the number's down for him. When he's hot, he hits anything.
Isn't that the truth? Again, trying to stay away, and they get him to reach, roll over. It'd be a tough play. Miller barehands the throw, and not in time. Well, he made a good pitch. Turns out, though, to be a base hit on the infield. And Suarez has reached for the second time. Reached on an error by Miller, and this time an infield hit.
Almost seems like Wainwright is snake bit against the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, nothing's really gone his way in this game, including that slow roller. Miller did everything he could to make the play, but no chance to get Suarez. And you know, Adam giving up the unearned runs in the first inning and a hit like that, it's just not a team that's kind of, he's been able to just roll over and get through 7 quickly on. Not very often anyway.
Mike Moustakas. Some great years in Kansas City, world champion with the Royals. A couple of seasons with Milwaukee. And now with the Cincinnati Reds. Big curveball taken high. Moustakas from LA, 6 feet, 225 pounds, and big home run hitter, signed a 4-year deal. He's been a 3-time All-Star, 28 or more home runs in each of the last 4 seasons. Good player. I will say, though, it's odd seeing him at second base.
I would agree.
But with the DH now in play, and it looks like it's not going anywhere, maybe you can hide him a little bit, for lack of a better term. But it's not like he's going to embarrass himself there. He's probably not going to win a Gold Glove, but yet he's gonna be a threat in the middle of that lineup. There's no doubt about it.
I almost can't believe I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but if you're talking about a rule going forward that stays, I actually like the 7-inning doubleheader staying more than I like the designated hitter staying in the National League. I think the 7-inning doubleheader has been a good thing for the game, and it could give more off days for players. They've been trying to find a way to play more games in less time. That's the way to do it.
Moustakas can hit. Here comes Suarez. He will score, and Moustakas trotting into second base. RBI double, 4-2 Cincinnati. The dude can flat out hit.
Yes, he can. Well, you find a place for a guy like that. Able to keep his hands back and drive it. That pitch was actually away from him, but up. Good extension. Hit that ball right on the nose.
Akiyama grounded out to second. Pulls it fair. Goldschmidt will step on the bag. While we have a moment, let's tell you that Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good, and by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. 4-2 game, top of the third. Cardinals will bring the infield in. Josh Van Meter grounded out to first, 0 for 1. Outfield is straight away. Reds have scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 here in the third. They've out hit the Cardinals 6-2. A big curveball.
Really should give some credit to Matt Wieters for kind of gutting it out the last day in Chicago with a broken toe, apparently. And we knew he was hobbling the minute the ball hit off his foot. He just never had an at-bat that was comfortable after that, and yet caught a whole game.
Taken there by Goldschmidt. He'll step on the bag and a big out with the infield in. And Moustakas has to stay put at third.
Goldie's been busy over there, hasn't he?
Has he ever?
Several plays in the early going, including this one. This takes a runaway from the Cincinnati Reds, and he does catch that off the ground. That's actually a line out, not a ground out.
Well, you got a lot of left-handed batters, and Wainwright not throwing hard, so right side of the infield is busy. It's such an interesting time right now for Mike Maddox and Mike Schilt, going back to what the starters gave the Cardinals. 26 2/3 innings pitched. The relievers 31 1/3. So the bullpen really had their work cut out for them, you know, and they went 4-4 on the trip. So you'd love to see Wainwright give you an inning or two more.
You can do that for a while, have your relievers throw more innings than your starters for a short while, but it's not sustainable.
Catches up.
It does. And those actually are Mike Schilt's words in spring training. He understands that starters getting deep in games is still an important thing in this game. And it helps the bullpen guys get less innings but more productive ones. And you and I were talking earlier that seems like when the relievers get up to 20-25 pitches, the hard throwing guys that are 100%ers, they run out of gas.
Sure. Freddie Galvis homered earlier. Good pitch down and in. This is his 5th home run of the season, and a long one, measured at 400 feet. That made it 3-0. Cardinals came back with the bases loaded. A single by Yadi, 3-2. Then the RBI double moments ago by Moustakas. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Blocked by Yadi. And that limits the damage. So the Reds pick up a run in the top of the 3rd. And coming up, Edman, Goldschmidt, Carpenter. Still doing it with old Uncle Charlie. 4-2 Cincinnati. Glad that you're with us on Fox Sports Midwest. Boeing, the USO of Missouri, and the Cardinals proud to honor our military who serve both at home and away. Tonight's honoree, Captain Andrew Friesen, proudly serves our country in the United States Army. Captain Friesen was named the Fort Leonard Wood 2020 Officer of the Year. Thank you so much. We are your biggest fans. Tommy Edman, a breaking ball in the dirt, underway here in the bottom of the 3rd.
You don't see Tommy Edman overpowered very often by any big league pitcher. He can hold his own, but Sonny Gray just blew him away last time. Carved him up.
Tommy has held his own at short.
He sure has.
Been just fine.
You know, I wonder, had Jairo Munoz not walked out of spring training?
There's a fly ball to left for the first out.
Because he was worried about getting playing time. What would his life be like now? He might be playing shortstop every day.
I think he would be. And then you'd be maneuvering Tommy around. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He was, you know, Jairo was your backup shortstop.
Right.
Essentially. Yeah, it was really odd, the timing of it, and didn't really find out why. And remember, at that time, the Cardinals were kind of baffled too.
The concern was that maybe he thought that the writing was on the wall. They got Brad Miller. He wasn't going to be the utility guy anymore. And of course, Schrock was still there. But you know, competition, I mean, things happen. People get hurt. People get traded. So you just keep playing and see what happens. Apparently, he did catch on with the Red Sox, did not make their team. So I don't know if he's playing right now.
Pitch in the dirt to Goldschmidt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Paul lined out to first.
And I bring him up because he certainly had some skills. He had some good moments.
And you think about with the Cardinals, if there's was ever a time to be a prospect,
yes,
you're going to get playing time. The 1-1. Mentioned this to Jimmy Edmonds the other day. Not sure if you thought this as well. I think Goldschmidt and Jimmy thought he had opened up a little bit. I thought he was off the plate a little bit more than usual.
I will say this, I hadn't noticed either of those two, and I'll look for them, but I do think that he's been more selective at the plate. I think he's got a better, he's seeing the ball better, and he's not chasing pitches, and he's fouling off good pitches and waiting for something he can handle. Definitely looks comfortable at the plate.
Jimmy pointed that out. He also felt his lower half was very quiet, comfortable.
Yeah. There were times last year where, you know, it's an over exaggeration for Goldschmidt. Some players get this bad, but you almost get the sense that they're swinging on ice or on roller skates. Their feet are moving in their lower half, and what Jimmy's talking about is there's just so much movement. A pitcher sees that, and you can totally mess with the hitter by throwing him off balance, changing speeds. But he does not have any of that right now.
Missed on the outside corner. Seeing the ball well.
There's that eye.
So the third walk issued by Gray. The DH tonight, Matt Carpenter, he walked back in the second and scored on the single by Molina with the bases loaded.
Mentioned the Cincinnati staff has the second lowest starters ERA in all of baseball. They have the best in the National League. Different story for their bullpen. And their bullpen has been getting better year after year, but this year they're off to a rough start. ERA of around 6, but their starters are dominating games. Castillo and Bauer, Gray, strikeouts per 9, 11.84 strikeouts per 9. That's the highest in all of MLB. They throw a lot of pitches, get a lot of strikeouts.
Bauer has been sensational. Remember, we saw him at the end of last year, and he just wasn't quite Trevor Bauer-like. Well, he's back.
I think his arm was sore for throwing the ball over the center field wall when he was with Cleveland.
Well, you never know.
I don't know if his arm was sore, but he had to overcome that. I mean, he got some. He got a little bit ridiculed for that, and it was one of the oddest things I've ever seen on a baseball field.
You know what?
And there were people in the ballpark back then, by the way, and his manager came to take him out, and he threw the ball over the center field wall.
Personally, I get a kick out of it.
Right.
Now, I don't necessarily recommend that move, but
Yeah.
he's active on Twitter. He's active on social media. He's opinionated, and I'm here for it. I don't necessarily have to agree with everything.
You can you can get a kick out of him, but you might not want to manage him.
Well, he came out. He had. Did you see what he was going to wear?
No.
This is great. And I appreciate what he was going to wear, too. He was going to have spikes that had Free Joe Kelly on them. I love it.
Yeah, I do like that.
Oh, it's great.
I do like that.
And MLB got wind of that and said, I don't think we want you to wear that. I'm all for it. I get a kick out of him. I was supposed to interview him, by the way, earlier this year if we had normal circumstances. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss by Carpenter. Hey, we don't all have to agree on everything.
No, of course not.
And that's fine.
There's another strikeout for a Reds starting pitcher.
So I saw him pitch when he was at UCLA. And I was told I was doing the game. He was, I think, a super regional game. I was doing the game. They said, oh, you're going to see this guy, Trevor Bauer. They said he's kind of a unique character, you know, but he's highly thought of. He's going to be top prospect. They said, well, watch him when he goes out to throw his first warm-up pitch. They said, make sure you're paying attention. And I said, why? They said, they didn't tell me a reason. They said, just make sure you're watching. I said, okay. Here's the 0-1, 0-2. And he went behind the mound and it was like as if he took a crow hop and threw it as hard as he could to the catcher.
Like,
and I mean, he's obviously got a big arm.
Yeah, like a center fielder throwing a guy out at the plate from the pitcher's mound.
And I was working with Robin Ventura, and we both looked at each other and go, what is going on
There
here?
are times as a pitching coach, you'll have a pitcher do that because when you throw like a center fielder to the plate, you get your arm in the proper position. You just do it without thinking about it. Your body comes in, you start to throw, you get the feel for hand behind the ball, fingers on top.
Sure.
I mean, all of the proper positioning for your chest, elbow, and so the idea is if you do that and then you translate that into a pitching motion, then maybe you've got something.
So, you know, he does a lot of the sabermetric look at the game. He's got a kind of a outside, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but the outside look at, you know, looking at numbers and spin rates and things like that. I'm all for it. He tries to connect to fans on social media. I think it's great. And whether you like his opinions or not, that's fine too. But he wants to. He loves the game. He's trying to make it better in his view, and you can appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Miller didn't like the high call. It's 4-2 Cincinnati. Download the McDonald's app for medium fries for just $1 after any Cardinals home run. Fredbird's in Big Mac land. Got a couple fans up there.
I wondered where he was. You know, you're talking about, I'm sorry, he's a lonely bird right now.
He is.
He's used to being hugged and punched and kicked and interacted with, yelled at by 40,000 people every night.
Well, he's taking in the game up there.
He's directing traffic, looks like. Is he setting the outfield defense there?
I'm not sure what he was doing.
I think he was. I think he was telling Dylan Carlson he needed to play a little bit more towards center field on Votto.
Shade him a little bit the other side.
Does have the bird's eye view, to be sure.
This is Votto's 62nd plate appearance against Wainwright in his career. More than any other pitcher he's faced.
Oh, Fredbird had him played right.
Perfectly.
Well done, Fredbird.
2 quick outs for Wainwright, and Castellanos will be the batter. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of flyouts to right field. So Wainwright has allowed 4 runs on 6 hits. Trouble in that first inning with a couple of errors committed behind him. Reds have stranded 4. Freddie Galvis with a home run and a 74-mile-an-hour breaking ball taken high. Cardinals will have O'Neill, Fowler, and Molina coming up. One-0 pitch. Good cutter. This will be pitch number 60 of the night for Wainwright. Trying to keep the Reds off the board for their first half inning. They scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. Sharp right there.
That was the cutter slash slider from Waino. And again, you have a Reds player pulling off of it. Don't make a mistake to Castellanos, though.
How about that? You look up, Sometimes you're thinking, uh-oh, it could be going south, and all of a sudden Adam Wainwright's going to pitch into the 5th. The due-ups, O'Neill, Fowler, and Molina. And it's 4-2. Is going virtual. Proceeds benefit Girls on the Run, Cardinals Care, Redbird Rookies. Register at cardinals.com/5K. You did that.
I did. Slowly, but I did it.
Doesn't matter. You did it. Did you get your medal?
I haven't gotten it yet.
It's coming. It's in the mail.
It's in the mail. Okay.
Good job. Here's Tyler O'Neill and a fastball taken high at 91.
Actually gave me a chance to participate in the Cardinals 5K, because normally it's done when the team's on the road. Can't do it.
Fought off slowly. Tough play, and O'Neill is the first out. So Tyler is 0 for 2. Moustakas with the play.
Tyler gets jammed on this one. He's actually had a little bit of a problem with his ring finger. Had a sore at the base of his ring finger, and I wondered if that was from being jammed or how he actually did that. I'm not sure, but he actually had to sit out a game on the road, and I'm not sure that's 100% healthy for Tyler, but I think he's going to break out at some point. He's not swinging it very well in the last week or so, but I think there are better days ahead for Tyler O'Neill.
I think sometimes in this year we forget some of the past trends of young players. Remember how streaky he was at times.
Yes.
So that could happen. Dexter Fowler takes one in the dirt, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Dexter walked back in the 2nd inning.
I think Dexter has been as comfortable at the plate as I've seen him as a Cardinal.
I would agree.
At bat after at bat, I think he gives you a chance. He's shown some occasional power. He's getting on base. He's walking. He's not chasing as much. A lot of pitches per plate appearance for Dexter.
Cardinals signed him. That was the idea.
No doubt.
It was Dexter Fowler, Matt Carpenter, Aledmus Diaz, all seeing a great amount of pitches at the top of the lineup. Taken high. And a 3-1 pitch now with the shift on the right side, and Dexter hits it out of play. That's an area of the ballpark that we're starting to get some of the unique shots that you see the cameramen and women get that normally they don't get in games. They're situated in the seats down the right and the left field lines.
Right.
The canopies down the lines for social distancing. Into center field, taken there, Akiyama, and that is out number 2. And a quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Stock up for game day on payday. Deposit a check on your phone anytime with the Great Southern mobile app.
So 2 outs, nobody on. Yadier Molina. It had been 22 days since he had played in a major league game. So what? First plate appearance, bases loaded, singles to right, scores 2. Unbelievable.
Well, you lead by example, and he's been doing that for a long time. Plays the game hard. Outstanding defender, we know that. 9-time All-Star, but can still produce with the lumber.
I also think Gray did him a favor by pitching him away.
Well, he looked as if the whole at bat he was trying to go to the other way. So it almost seemed like busting him in with a fastball was maybe a better choice. But, you know, Yadi's ready for everything.
If you're a Reds fan, you're tuned in tonight, are you sitting there going, are these guys ever going to be done? Yadi and Waino? I mean, will they just retire?
I hope not. I'm not ready for that day.
If you're a Reds fan, you're saying, come on, man. 4-2 our score.
2 at Busch Stadium. Colton Wong starting to heat up just a little bit at the plate. Colton says he's feeling like he's getting into a rhythm after all the stops and starts that the season has brought. We had a chance to chat with Colton today via video chat, and he told me he considered opting out. I was surprised by that. Colton said, I'm not a high-risk guy, but I have asthma. Knowing it's a respiratory illness, I was very nervous and had some internal battles over what to do. Colton says he decided to play after talking with his teammates. Colton said, being around those guys as long as I have, this is my family. I didn't want to leave those guys behind because I was afraid. Danny Colton says being around his teammate keeps him focused.
Good stuff, Jimmy. I know you're very tight with the players, have been doing the Zoom calls outside of what the team provides, so we appreciate the extra coverage and insight you provide. I was texting with Willie McGee, your former teammate, the other day, who is a coach that has opted out. We know Jordan Hicks has opted out, diabetic, coming off of Tommy John surgery. And there's the aforementioned Colton Wong. And texting with Willie, Ricky, who is beloved by everybody in this game and in this city, certainly. It was a very, very difficult decision for one of our favorite, not just players and coaches, but people in this world.
Yeah, he said he wanted to be with the team, and it's just, you know, kind of gut-wrenching for him, but he knew it was the right thing to do at his age and really where he was in his life. He has several people that he's kind of connected with family-wise that he was, you know, concerned about too. So, you know, not an easy decision for Willie. And honestly, I kind of jump on something that John Mozeliak has been saying repeatedly, and he's been saying it about kind of the shaming the guys that actually get tested positive for COVID, and there's almost this thing, oh, how'd you get it, and almost this shame that players feel, which hurts their contact tracing. I mean, you want to know where they've been, and look, there's no shame in it. This is as Mo says, this is a virus that is a little indiscriminate. It just kind of goes where it goes, and so the same is true of guys that decide to opt out or not. You know, to shame guys for saying yes or no to that very personal question, I think is wrong.
Edman to his left, and again getting Suarez to reach. They have just been pounding that outside portion of the zone to get him to reach, and a ground out. What could be a quick inning here for Waino, we'll see. 2 ground outs. So 2 outs and nobody on as we play here in the top of 5. Enter in the Phillips 66 home run kit sweepstakes for the chance to win exclusive Cardinals merchandise like an autographed item. www.cardinals.com/Phillips66 to enter. Moustakas, RBI double in the 3rd, sac fly and an RBI in the 1st. Hitting .269, couple of home runs. He's driven in 8 on the year.
Add one thing about John Mozeliak. I think he's done a terrific job leading this organization during this time. It's not an easy time. There's a lot of things you're legally not supposed to say about somebody in their health situation, and yet this is a public game and people are digging and they're trying to find out, that sometimes just out of curiosity, well, how do you get it or who's got it, and those are things that you're bound really by law not to discuss, and he's navigated that very well, not defensively, but he's done it very well in protecting not just the players but the staff that have been involved.
Little tapper, that's back to Waino. Flips it over to first, and Adam Wainwright is settled in. Carlson, Wong, Edman coming up from Busch. Time for your T-Mobile ticket to the game. The Giants call up their top prospect, Joey Bart, make his major league debut. The Padres' first team to hit 3 grand slams consecutive games since the Cleveland Spiders in 1895. And Alex Bregman, strained right hamstring. He is on the 10-day IL, and they have been besieged with injuries for Dusty Baker and his club.
The Cleveland Spiders, you say?
Correct, sir. 1895.
You were up at 4:30 this morning researching.
Digging.
Unbelievable how hard you work at this job. I'm impressed.
Tell you what, that Spider Club was... You had to watch out for him in that 1895 season, Ricky. Slowly hit by Carlson, and Votto to the bag. This is settled in to be a little bit of a pitcher's duel now, with Waino really settling in after a 9-pitch inning.
Yeah, 9 straight retired by Wainwright too. He has the ability to settle in. He's found his groove, and working with Yadier Molina, of course, helps him. But You know, that's what a veteran pitcher will do. You give up a couple runs early and you don't kind of fall apart. You know, we saw that with some of the young pitchers that came up, that once something started to spin on them, it would spin so fast that they couldn't regain control. And Waino's not that guy. A couple of bad things happen, a couple of unearned runs, and he's still in this game.
So Colton Wong now, top of the lineup. No activity in the Cardinals' pen. Pitch number 72 by Sonny Gray, who was struck out Wong looking to start the game offensively for St. Louis. Got him to ground out. Want to take a moment to recognize our season ticket holders of the game. We have Colleen Shaindienst.
Do we?
Colleen Shaindienst.
Oh, she's the best.
The Gailey family. Joe Drish. Uncle Tito Powell. Jim Powell. And the Passmore family reunion.
That is quite a list.
2-2.
I miss Colleen singing the national anthem. And I remember her mom singing the national anthem. Red's wife, Mary, was a very gifted singer and a sweet, sweet lady. I miss a lot of people not being at the ballpark right now, but I really miss Red Shaindienst.
Tough pitch under his hands and a strikeout. And that's 5 tonight. Sonny Gray.
We said he has a sharp breaking ball. See, we told you. Look at the spin on that. We'll get Trevor Bauer to check the spin rate. He can tweet it to you, and you can tell us.
Get a headset on him. Be fun. Strike to Tommy Edman. Wainwright, 9-pitch inning, and also 9 in a row. So he's getting set for the 6th, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 7 in a row for Sonny Gray after a walk to Goldschmidt back in the 3rd. Tommy is struck out and flied out, and now pops one in the air into shallow left. Edman hustling. He's around first. That ball drops. He's been hustling all the way into second base, standing up. It drops in.
It's got to be a double.
Absolutely.
Wasn't pretty. As Suarez talking about how the spin confused him. Understandable. That's a tough play to make. There's the backswing, and there's Tommy Edman thinking, I might get to second base. And there he goes.
You wanted the spin rate on Wong. 2,972. He has had several up over 3,000 tonight, and if you get over 3,000, that is elite. Here's Goldschmidt, who has 2 home runs on the year, and he represents the tying run.
Tell me you didn't text Trevor Bauer.
I did not.
Okay.
I don't have his number.
Okay. As we know, you're not allowed to use technology during a game.
That's right. You better not do that.
We don't want you to get in trouble, Dan.
Don't be banging
we'll
on
let Joe Kelly throw it at you.
No trash cans.
Can you imagine that? Joe Kelly just rearing back and throwing one up here.
I'm ducking. I know that. He's got a live arm.
I hate to predict that, but I could see that someday. A guy just really mad at the broadcaster for saying something about him personally.
Just let it fly.
Just knocking him down.
A brush back. The 2-0.
I'm not asking for it. I'm just saying.
I get it. By the way, is that Nelly in a cutout behind home plate? I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. From the Lou and I'm proud.
There he is, right over the silhouette there of Goldschmidt, just over his head. There's Nelly. One of my favorite moments ever as a broadcaster, right here, interviewing Nelly during a Cardinal broadcast.
Joe Kelly interviewed Nelly too.
Yes, he did.
2-1 pitch. Take it high.
I got to say, I was kind of nervous talking to him.
Oh, come on.
He's Nelly.
What about John Hamm? Would you be nervous interviewing
No.
John?
Nope.
Big Blues fan, big Blues game tomorrow.
Not done yet.
Nope.
Keep going.
3-1 pitch. 3-2.
Blues are in the playoffs. The Cardinals are back playing, and also a nice week last week as the Major League Soccer team in St. Louis was announced. And I know you were a big part of that, Danny, so congratulations to you and that team for the announcement of the St. Louis City Soccer Club.
It's very cool. Cardinals baseball brought to you by Ford, the official card truck of the Cardinals, and by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery.
So we'll be watching Major League Soccer in 2023, is that right?
Correct.
So is it too early for me to ask you for tickets?
You're not the only one.
So there, you already got a list going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Dan, you and I are buddies. Come on. Of course,
So,
everybody says that to you.
If Tom Strunk or Jim Cavanaugh or Carolyn Kendall Betts, they're watching, I have a long list, but I'm just saving those for my really good friends.
Okay.
You're on that list, though, Rick.
I was hoping I would be. As you know, I've been to several MLS championship games. Several.
I know.
I really do love the sport, and I'm excited about it.
The atmosphere is tremendous.
Oh, it's amazing. And, of course, it's a soccer town as well as a baseball town.
You got it. Well, that will be when we get back to quote-unquote normalcy.
Yeah.
I mean, you will have hockey, baseball, soccer all going on at the same time, which will be just electric down here in downtown St. Louis.
You have any indication when that's going to be so I can put it in my Outlook calendar?
I have no idea.
When things will be normal?
Let's just hope sooner rather than later.
You speak for a lot of people by saying that.
So here's Carpenter with 2 runners on. 4-2 our score. And the 1-0 pitch. Carpenter hits it into the shift. Moustakis makes the play, and the Redbirds strand a pair. It stays a 4-2 game. Waino back out for the 6th. This season, and their Major League Baseball ranks, and in the top 4 of some of the major categories thus far. Wainwright back out there for inning number 6. He has set down 9 in a row, coming off a 9-pitch inning. Akiyama, Van Meter, Galvis. And the first pitch, a strike.
Wainwright has given up more runs, Dan, but he's thrown less pitches. So the Reds are in danger of Sonny Gray not getting much deeper into this game, and you get into the Reds bullpen that has been less than stellar so far.
Sims was up and throwing last inning. If Sonny Gray ran into any kind of problems, he did have a couple of runners on, but got out of it. Akiyama pulls it foul. 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second, also grounded out to first. There is David Bell. He himself enjoyed a very nice big league career, and his father, big leaguer, grandpa, big leaguer. Baseball runs in the family.
Played against his father, and I coached David with the Indians as a 19-year-old, fresh out of, I guess he maybe went to a year of junior college. I'm not sure if he did or not, but he was really young, and he was our third baseman and just a kid. I mean, but you could tell he had the hands of a Bell. really good fielder, and ended up being a very good big league player.
Put away by Tommy Edman. Cardinals are proud to partner with Wells Fargo Advisors and thank them for continuing to serve the community through their contributions to Cardinals Care. It was a pleasure to be around David when he was here as a coach. Then he went off to San Francisco, worked in their front office, development, draft, that kind of thing, and then back to his hometown of Cincinnati to manage the big league club after managing, by the way, prior to all that in their minor league system.
Best way to describe David Bell is think of somebody that you know. Think of somebody that is just soft-spoken, mild, respectful, nice, easygoing. Hi, Dan. How you doing? Good to be with you. And then flips a switch and becomes the Incredible Hulk. That's David Bell.
Is evidence of the amount of ejections that he had a year ago.
But that's who he is. I mean, it's amazing how that switch flips and he just becomes.
He's got a little temper.
Yeah,
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Fire that burns inside.
It kind of works in this profession, doesn't it?
You better have a little edge to you. Better be able to compete. 2 balls and a strike on Josh Van Meter.
So we like to say in the baseball world, when a guy is frustrated and he hits line drives at people and he snaps. That's what they say. Well,
that's a good way to put it.
David snapped, and so when we managed him, he snapped all the time.
There's a fly ball lifted out to left field. O'Neill with the catch. Out number 2. 11 in a row for Adam Wainwright. Freddie Galvis, a home run back in the second. He has also struck out. A look at his home run with StatCast, powered by Google Cloud.
Talked about the way the DH has helped the Cardinals during this time, getting pitchers deeper in the game and not having to use as many position players. Imagine Wainwright would be out of this game if it weren't for the DH. He would have been pinch hit for last inning and wouldn't have had that 1-2-3 inning in the 6th.
12 in a row. Adam Wainwright, Miller, O'Neill, Fowler coming up. Bud Light Seltzer, what's on tap, and Dakota Hudson will get the call for the Cardinals. Anthony DeSclafani for the Cincinnati Reds, and will come your way at 6:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. Pair of right-handers, game 2 of this series, Reds and Cardinals.
Mike Shildt saying he's going to stay with his rotation. It'll be Hudson, then KK, and then Ponce, and then back to Jack Flaherty. But he has more options now with Oviedo, Austin Gomber. Of course, they're double headers ahead.
I don't know if you even look at it as a traditional 5 right now.
Right, you can't. Not with 9 more double headers.
No.
Ahead and very few off days.
Here's Miller, and a pitch taken for a strike. To your point of wanting to have more off days looking ahead next year, one way you could maybe get away with it is saying we'll give you the more off days to the Players Association by adding then more postseason baseball. So you add more off days, but then add more teams into the postseason. It's a little give and take. Are you following me on that?
Yeah, no doubt.
May happen. 16 teams will qualify for postseason play this year. The 1-2. Tails back in. Miller knew it, and the strikeout for Sonny Gray, and that is 6 tonight.
Boy, he just let that one go. The stuff's still good for Sonny Gray. His pitch count's up over 90. And again, action in the bullpen for Cincinnati. It is Sims again. No one in the Cardinals bullpen.
We were talking off air in the break what direction Mike Shildt might go. I was leaning towards Wainwright going back out there because the bullpen has been so taxed, and if you can buy maybe one more inning, you do it, and it looks like that's the direction Mike may go. We'll see. You were kind of leaning towards.
I was leaning towards 81 maybe being enough pitches for Wainwright.
Yeah,
he does have 20 out of 26 batters first pitch strikes. Pretty impressive.
Sure is.
Well, I know what the answer would be if you asked him.
Give me the ball.
In fact, there's sometimes he does the preemptive strike. He's done that over his. He'll come in and he'll say, "I'm not coming out." I mean, he'll, before anybody says anything to him, he'll just say that, "I'm not coming out."
Ricky, he has faced 26 batters tonight. 4 of those 26 saw the same pitch twice. That's it. So meaning 22 batters never got the same pitch twice. I mean, he's just mixing it up. And that'll be a base hit into left. Tyler O'Neill, his first hit of the night. Subway restaurants are proud to feature the Cardinals fan favorite for August, the Sweet Onion Chicken Teriyaki Sub. It's fielding fans around St. Louis all month long. Dexter Fowler has walked back in the second and fly to center. Shift on the right side. And ball one taken high. Well, if you include tonight, Cardinals starters have 53 strikeouts. Sonny Gray with his strikeout of Brad Miller, he alone has 51. Reds pitching in particular, their starters racking up the strikeouts. Gray, Bauer, some of the others. It's impressive, and they really built their team with Bauer becoming a free agent after this year, but going out signing Moustakas and Castellanos. The idea was win this year. A 2-0 pitch.
Cardinals had a couple base runners last inning and couldn't get the big hit to tie this game open. Maybe it'll happen this inning. Fowler has worked the count to 3-0.
Puts it in play, and with that, it is a double play. Try to take it the other way against the shift on 3-0, and it does not pay off.
In Kansas City, so the Redbirds won't see him this go around with the Reds. But Bauer posted a video to his Twitter account yesterday before the game showing off his custom-made cleats that he had planned to wear before the game, saying "Free Joe Kelly" on one of them, and a photo of Joe Kelly's cry face. Of course, Kelly was suspended for 8 games for his antics against the Astros earlier this season. Now, Bauer didn't end up wearing the cleats for the game. He said Major League Baseball threatened to eject him if he wore them, so he didn't want to put his teammates through that. But regardless, Bauer said he planned to give away the cleats to a person who purchased one of his t-shirts, and all the proceeds would go to Joe Kelly's charity of choice, guys.
I love it.
Oh, that's terrific. That's great, Erica. I love, you know, you described the cleats, but Erica showed them to us. That is, I mean, that is classic. That is so good.
How about the face?
The pout face.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what's going on with that, with the Astros, and we'll just say one more thing about that. We talked about it earlier, but the point is Major League Baseball has come down hard on the Astros organization. But from the players' point of view, they don't believe the players who got immunity for testifying had any retribution at all. And I think the players are just saying, well, you know, you guys got off scot-free and you went to the World Series and we didn't. And that makes me mad. And that's, and it's the players kind of taking care of their own business a little bit. I think that's why we're seeing that happen.
Tucker Barnhart at the plate, the 1-1. You as a former player, how do you feel about it?
Oh, same way. I mean,
yeah.
and frankly, one of the things that bothers me most about that situation, and you know, just the general thought that the players were able to say things about what their coaches did who lost their jobs, and they continue to keep theirs. That's a little distaste. Bothers me because those coaches are former players.
Good point.
They're in the fraternity too, and it just seems like a bit of an easy way out for some of those players.
Last time a Cardinals starter this year pitched into the 7th, opening day, Jack Flaherty. And here is Wainwright, and a 3-1 pitch to the 9th place batter, Tucker Barnhart. May have helped him out. Alex Reyes is throwing in the Cardinal pen.
I see that Tucker Barnhart, by the way, is listed only as a left-handed batter now.
I saw that too. Used to be a switch hitter. Now on the score sheet, he's listed as a switch hitter. Curveball, and he struck him out. Comes back to get him. 3rd strikeout for Wainwright. The BJC Healthcare difference maker, and it's Adam Wainwright.
How good has he been? He's gotten on a roll. The curveball found its mark. A lot of off-balance swings on the Cincinnati side. Not a lot of hard contact. And Waino's just mowing him down. Again, the first pitch strikes, I think, a big key to this. And there's another one.
It's been a pleasure to watch this man pitch, perform what he's done on and off the field, and it continues. Votto's career on base percentage, by the way, is .421 with a minimum of 3,000 plate appearances, and that is 17th best all time, just ahead of one Mickey Mantle. On base twice tonight, reached on an air, singled, and fly to center. 0-2 pitch.
So a lot of praise from you and I for Adam Wainwright, and we recognize that he's losing this game 4-2. One of the details that you don't want to miss is that 2 of those runs are unearned.
That's right.
He's thrown more pitches than he needed to. He should have had more outs, should be deeper in the game. All of those shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But it's him keeping his team from having to go to the bullpen early and use guys that maybe need a little extra rest. It's just, you know, one thing affects another thing in this game. One day affects the next. And what Waino's doing here is important.
He's also asking, where was that last pitch? A couple of times he said, where's that? Was that up? Now 2-2 on Votto. Puts it in play. Hit left side. Miller off balance throw. Good play, ranging to his left to get Joey Votto.
Joey Votto has developed almost a playing pepper type swing where he's not even really swinging the bat. He's just chopping at it and putting it in play. And again, you know, if he's a speedster running down the line and can beat that out, if you're Vince Coleman, that works, or if you're Ricky Henderson. But Joey Votto, I'm just not sure what's up with that with Joey Votto. It started last year, at least I saw it more last year. Kind of almost an awkward chopping swing that was not a full cut.
He's choking up by 3 or 4 inches on the bat too. How many guys are doing that?
But it's, again, it's like a golfer that doesn't finish his swing. It's just not going to work.
Nick Castellanos, that's 14 in a row set down by Adam Wainwright. The last base runner they've had was back in the 3rd, and that was an infield hit by Suarez. As Wainwright kind of glances back in and wonders where that pitch was. 2-0. And in that time frame, he's only had 2 balls that left the infield in 14 straight. Out in front of the plate, tap foul.
We said soft contact. There's another example of that. That was almost an out 2-3. Did not get back into fair territory, but that is a That's an off-balance swing by a guy that's swinging the bat really well.
Castellanos twice has flied to right and the strikeout swinging. Waino with 3 strikeouts, 6 hits allowed. The Galvis home run hit back in the second. All the runs scored in the first 3 innings against Adam. Pitch number 96. And that is pulled foul.
Uncle Charlie to finish.
What do you think?
I think he's going to go with the slider instead. A little shorter breaking ball. Get him to chase down and away.
Definitely down and away. I'm going with that. Outside corner, 90 miles an hour on the black.
And he froze both of us with a fastball. I was looking slider. You were looking curveball. What a finish for Adam Wainwright.
The Red Jacket Club and all of its members. And tonight, Proficient salutes Willie McGee, who's been a Red Jacket member since 2014. So 15 in a row for Adam Wainwright to finish his night, and we should mention he will turn 39 in 10 days. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri.
So Wainwright is going up the ladder in terms of all-time Cardinals and strikeouts and innings pitched and all that. He's, one of the guys he's chasing is Jesse Haynes. And I've been saying Jesse Haynes pitched till he was 44. So he's got those big numbers along with Bob Gibson, who are basically 1-2 and everything. And like if Adam wants to get to Jesse Haynes, just pitch for another 5, 6, 7 years.
He is getting better as he goes along, it seems like. He was so good at the end of last year, and it just picked right up.
Just throwing it out there. Yachty and Waino still going in 2025.
It's incredible. Lucas Sims, Sonny Gray out. Yachty has the 2 runs driven in for the Cardinals tonight. And it's 0-2. Sonny Gray strikes out 6 along the way. Gives up the 2 runs. That was in the second inning. Total of 4 hits. And the 0-2 pitch. Tapped foul. So Wainwright, 97 pitches in his 7 innings, 66 strikes. The 0-2 taken high. One ball, 2 strikes on Molina. Got him to chase and a strikeout.
We first saw Lucas Sims with the Atlanta Braves. He was a former #1 round pick for them, and that's a sharp breaking ball. Yachty can't catch up with it. And again, the Cincinnati Reds bullpen, and you've got Iglesias and Lorenzen and some of the same guys, Amir Garrett, that were so good last year, and they just have not quite found their right combination yet. A group ERA of 6.
Dylan Carlson. Relievers have not allowed a run in either of their last 3 games. Nothing at 2. 95 miles an hour there. Late call and a strikeout of Dylan Carlson. So Carlson is 0 for 3. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good, and by St. Louis Children's Hospital and Washington University Physicians, Guardians of Childhood. Top of the lineup now. That's 8 Cardinal strikeouts. Strike 1. Wong is 0 for 3. One thing I noticed in the road trip, Ricky, and I'm sure you probably did too, Cardinals collectively as a team saw breaking ball after breaking ball. They are seeing off-speed pitches galore.
Well, if you're thinking about it from a pitcher's point of view, you're pitching to guys who have not seen a lot of live action, and if anything, they've been able to take some batting practice. Well, what are they doing? They're taking batting practice on things that are straight. They don't have the game experience to be able to handle the nasty stuff.
That was the fastball, and Sims strikes out the side. We head to the 8th, and it's 4-2. And tomorrow night, the Cardinals continue their series with the Reds, and the Blues face the Canucks. Elimination game, Game 6. Fox Sports Midwest will televise both games. Cards and Reds will be on Midwest Plus. Coverage begins at 6:30. Blues and Canucks will be here on Fox Sports Midwest starting at 8. Both games also streaming on Fox Sports Go.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues in August. Hey, it's 2020, Ricky. Just deal with it, okay, baby?
You know, I didn't even know it was August, so thank you for telling me. You know, John Mozeliak made the comment today in his pregame Zoom call, which, you know, that's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, so he had the pregame Zoom call, and he said, well, you realize we only have 6 weeks left in the season. He was talking about Carlos Martinez. When Carlos comes back, does he start or does he relieve? He said, well, you know, to stretch him out to be a starter is problematic, because we only have 6 weeks left in the season, and you know, it's a point worth thinking about.
Yeah, you're running out of time. You're trying to cover innings with all the doubleheaders anyway.
So you're just starting and you're running out of time. That's
exactly.
That's an odd place to be right now for St. Louis.
So here's Alex Reyes. He started the doubleheader Game 2 on Monday. Gave up a run. And was electric in his debut.
Was he ever?
Against the White Sox.
I was giddy over that one.
How could you not be?
Looked like the Reyes that I saw as a first-round draft choice on a backfield.
Oh, I remember we saw him on those backfields. Incredible. The 1-1.
Forgot you were with me that day. The velocity was extraordinary. Curveball. Sharp, and that's what we saw his first outing, and you know, it's been a long road back for Alex Reyes. I mean, you get hurt, and then there's a pandemic. I mean, he has to just be thinking, what do I got to do to have a normal big league season? Keep throwing 99 on the black.
That'll help. 1-2, and that pitch in the dirt. It's one of the things that I miss about spring training. There's so many things obviously you miss, but going back, being on the backfields where the minor leaguers were just starting to trickle in and being able to go see some of those games and those workouts.
And they're not trickling anywhere right now, the minor leaguers. I really do feel for them. Young players that are, you know, it's their chance to play professional baseball. You know, people say, well, they're not professional players. Yeah, they are. They're minor leaguers, but they're getting paid to play. But right now they're not.
Curveball lifted high in the air out to shallow right, and the catch made by Carlson almost overran it, but he makes the play. And there's one away. In that game against the White Sox, it was like 97, 98, hit 100 I think at one point, but struck out the side. And we also saw the sharp break. Now it wasn't quite the control maybe that you wanted with the curveball, but you saw the break. But the velocity was back with Eugenio Suarez reached on an error, infield hit, and grounded out to short. Couldn't catch up on that fastball at 97. It was Alex Reyes who made his debut against these Reds a few years ago, and it was an electric night at the ballpark. Barrett and Olivia McLaughlin, huge Cardinal fans of Alex Reyes. They love that debut. Pretty soon it's going to be. Pretty soon it's going to be bedtime.
Oh, I'd like to keep him up a little bit longer, maybe a little extra innings.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen a game yet. Personally, I haven't seen it. I know there have been where you start with the guy at second base.
Seen it on TV.
Right, but I mean, I want to see one. Not sure how I'll feel about that. That seems a little tricked up to me.
That's in the air down the left field line and pulled foul.
Oh. That ball was tattooed, wasn't it?
Sure was.
How about the emphatic foul call, too? Our umpire down the line. That might have broken a seat.
It's right by that Webster University sign, so that gives us a better idea of knowing fair or foul right down that left field line.
There you go.
Hooked foul. 2-2 the count. Shift on the left side of the infield. One out, nobody on. And the next by Reyes, bounced in the dirt.
So this is the problem that Roel Ramirez had, and I'm not saying he's the same as Alex Reyes, but the rough outing that he had that actually started out pretty good in his major league debut. He couldn't throw his curveball for a strike.
Exactly.
So what happens is the batter says, well,
sit on it, sit on a fastball.
As Jack Clark likes to say when he talks about hitting, you eliminate that. So you don't even have a curveball to me. I'm not even going to look for that. I'm looking fastball 100% of the time, and that's not a good place to be for the pitcher.
So Yachty the visit, 3-2. Moustakas on deck. And he walked him. So the 1-out walk, and it brings in Mike Moustakas. Going back to Adam Wainwright for just a moment. 151st time Adam Wainwright pitched through the 7th in the regular season. He had 6 games in which he pitched through the 7th. Cardinals won 5 of the 6 times. 5 of the 7, I should say. But just, you know, here it is. They were in their hotel rooms, hadn't pitched in 17 days. He's given you 5 innings and now 7 tonight. First 2 back. 97 from Reyes again. So he's given you a shot to win this game.
And that's years and years of routines and understanding his own body and his mechanics and his arm that just kind of gutted him through that. He made it look easy, and it's not.
Out to center, plenty of room for Dylan Carlson. Makes the catch and fires a strike to Wong. So 2 outs, and Akiyama will be the batter. He's grounded out to second, grounded out to first, and grounded out to short. 0 for 3.
I found a bio on Akiyama, and I wanted to give it to you, and I wanted to see you read it.
Oh, it's interesting here. There's a base hit into right. Fowler's throw going into second. Selected by the Seibu Lions of Japan's Pacific League in the 3rd round. Filed for free agency and became eligible to sign with a Major League Baseball team October of 2019, and signed by the Reds to a 3-year contract through 2022. I don't understand what's so hard about this.
Well, you just did a good job of reading his bio that is in Japanese in their media guide.
So
I've never seen that. Have you?
I read the portion in English.
No, I didn't notice that part. Oh, on the bottom, I see.
Yeah. The other part is all in Japanese. I don't know what the problem is with you not understanding that.
He's 184 centimeters of something and 85 kilograms.
Yeah. I don't see what was so hard about it, Ricky.
He's also a first ball hitter because he swung at the first pitch every time. That's not in there, I don't think. It might be. I don't know.
So he picks up the base hit into right. Reyes is trying to keep this a 2-run ball game. One ball and 1 strike.
One thing about Yadi being behind the plate, Reyes has been spiking his curveball, but Yadi's not going to be afraid to call a curveball even though there's a guy at third base.
Like that. And the 1-1. Gets the curveball in for a strike.
I thought in Giovanni Gallegos' outing in
on the 0-2
Wrigley Field, I wanted him to throw a slider, but he'd been spiking it, so he didn't go with it. He and Andrew Kisner, and I was willing him to throw that slider. I thought he would get him, and threw a fastball, and Bodie hit it, and that's the difference with Yadi back there.
Yadi called it up, and it doesn't matter. He gets the strikeout. So the strikeout of Van Meter, who is over 4, and now Reyes, a scoreless inning, sends us to the home half of the 8th. Edman, Goldschmidt, Carpenter coming up, and it's full telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. The banks of the Mississippi. Great to be back in St. Louis and bringing you Cardinals baseball from downtown St. Louis. Well, Sims struck out the side on 12 pitches back in the 7th. And now Tommy Edman looks at a strike on a breaking ball. Cardinals with 9 strikeouts in their lineup. Sonny Gray went 6 innings. Sims had the 7th inning. Edman is 1 for 3 with a double that he blooped into left field. Spins away from a fastball, and it's 1-1. Shift on the right side. Amir Garrett throwing in the Reds bullpen. Elledge for the Cardinals. Curveball taken high, and it's 2-1. So Wainwright trouble early on, but then set down 15 in a row. Sonny Gray solid in his start. The 2-1 pitch. Taken high. See if they can't get something going here. 3-1. Cardinals have received 4 walks in this game. Tommy got that fastball, couldn't do anything with it, popped it foul and out of play. And as I look to my left near the proficient perch, I see one Fredbird. He's moved from Big Mac land to the proficient perch.
Clapping his hands, cheering. He's just got one motor, doesn't he?
You got it. Ground ball slowly hit right side. Galvis charging and gets the speedy Edman. And the first out here in the 8th. So Tommy is 1 for 4 before he gets down the line.
Yeah, when you play that deep second base position, you've got to understand that the ball's not hit hard. You better charge it hard. And that's a really nice play by Galvis, who does charge it hard and transfers it quickly to get rid of it on the move. And you've got to instinctively know, and all infielders, it's like an internal clock they have. And every hitter who's at the plate, of course, has different speed down the line. But you've got to know who to take your time with and who not to. And you know Tommy Edman can run, so you hustle and get it there quickly. That's exactly what Galvis did.
Paul Goldschmidt lined out to first, walked into third, and walked into 5th. A ball and a strike. Shift on the left side of the infield. The 2 middle infielders on the outfield grass. And the outfield very deep. Reds lead by 2 late in this game.
Mentioned we saw Sims with the Braves. I don't remember him being this sharp and having this kind of stuff.
Looks to me that he's dropped his arm angle a little bit. Really tough. You could see on a right-hander. He's throwing hard, and that breaking ball is sharp.
Shows you why he was drafted in the first round out of the state of Georgia, and how many Georgians are playing in this game right now. Not this game, but the game.
That Braves run, the interest level that must have just been prevalent in the South and in the state of Georgia, in the Atlanta area.
Kind of comes out of his ear, doesn't it? I mean, it almost hides it a bit.
Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz, the great run that the Bobby Cox led Braves had. Three and 2 with 1 out. Goldschmidt puts it in play to short. Galvis out number 2. So the offense of the Cardinals very quiet tonight. 9 strikeouts and only 4 hits. And it looks like a pitching change coming up with Carpenter and Brad Miller, a couple of lefties, and they'll go with Amir Garrett, it looks like, out of their pen. Sims 5 up, 5 down.
Good job.
And 3 strikeouts mixed in.
Garrett, he's our Chevy call to the bullpen. There's his numbers on the season, a whip under 1 at 12.27 Ks per 9 for Garrett, who is one of 11 children. And he played college basketball at St. John's. Big tall left-hander, had a terrific season last year, was in 69 games for Cincinnati, 5-3 record, and an ERA of 3.21 in that ballpark, Great American Ballpark, which is clearly a hitter's ballpark. But he has become one of the good left-handers in baseball, and he will have Matt Carpenter with 2 outs in the 8th.
1 for 14. Carpenter against Garrett. I believe that home run was hit in Mexico against Garrett. This guy is good. Remember, they tried to start him and now he's working in relief. Former basketball player at St. John's, as you talked about. So very good athlete, handles his position well.
And
big guy, big arm.
Little fire to him too.
Oh yeah. Well, they had that brawl against the Pirates.
Right. That's what I was thinking of.
He was right in the middle of it.
Oh yeah. He does not back down.
No.
I guess if I was one of 11 kids and I was as big as Amir Garrett, I wouldn't back down either.
Well, you know, if you're one of 11,
yeah,
you're going to have some, some brawls. You're going to get into it with some people. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Sometimes within the family and sometimes defending your family, right?
That's right.
Looks like Seth Elledge will have the top of the ninth to try to give this Cardinal team one more chance if they don't get through any better this inning. But Alex Reyes is one inning of work. I would say okay, put a 0 up there. Not his best outing, but he found a way to put up a 0. Came up with the pitches when he needed them and got the job done in relief of Adam Wainwright, who was very, very good. 2 earned runs in 7 innings.
2-2. And a swing and a miss by Carpenter. 10 Cardinal strikeouts against Reds pitching tonight. Cincinnati on top 4-2. In inning, Freddie Galvis with this Nissan drive of the game. That made it 3-0 at the time. Cardinals came back, made it 3-2. Reds have added a run, and 4-2 our score as we move to the 9th inning.
And it's the 3rd appearance for Seth Elledge. First appearance in the big leagues was on the 16th of August on Sunday, and could hardly have been better. Pitched 2 1/3 innings and had 5 punchouts in Dakota Hudson's start. I mean, it was just an amazing performance. Of course, he followed Roel Ramirez, who had a rough day. I'm saying that, I guess, nicely, and I felt for him because I could tell he was out of gas and no place to go. But Elledge, a different story, and I liked his slider especially.
Two 2-0 the count. When you look back in this game, if you just joined us, the Cardinals committed 2 errors in that first inning, and a couple of runs came around to score, and that's really the difference. If not, it's a 2-2 game. Good fastball at 93. 2 balls and 1 strike. Galvis with that home run in the 2nd inning, his 5th of the year. He is struck out and also grounded out. Shift on the right side of the infield. 2 balls and 1 strike. You know, from what I saw with Elledge, that'll play.
Yeah,
it's going to play just fine.
No, he's got a big arm, and when the Cardinals got Elledge from Seattle, and basically it was a trade for a guy that was out of options, and Sam Tuivailala, Cardinals had to do something with him, and he was more ready. Elledge was a younger version almost of Tui, not game ready, but somebody that the Cardinals could have options on and use down the road. So it made sense for the Cardinals, made sense for the Mariners, because they needed somebody at that time and got Tui. So it was really a trade that I think worked out for both.
3-2 the count on Galvis, and he walked him. Went with the slider on 3-2. Alex Reyes enjoyed a scoreless 8th inning leadoff walk. Ninth place hitter Tucker Barnhart. Raisel Iglesias getting loose for the Reds in their bullpen. So runner at first and nobody out. And ball one.
Why do young pitchers walk so many people when they get to the big leagues? Pretty simple answer to that. I mean, there's two. Number one is maybe they don't have the command yet. That would be the logical answer, number one. But secondarily, a lot of times guys have success in the minor leagues by getting guys to chase pitches at the minor league level that they don't chase at the big league level. And it surprises you a little bit. You throw that nasty slider and they spit on it and it's a ball.
Runner goes, chance for Yachty, throw to second, and goodbye. Same old Yachty. He's picked up a base hit with the bases loaded earlier tonight. That scored 2, and they try to run on Yachty here in the 9th inning, and he's got the look like, are you kidding me?
I guess you can hit in his basement, but I guess he could throw too. He must have a really long basement that's what, 127 feet from home to second base.
So that erases the walk, and there's a fly ball lifted out to left field. O'Neill near the track makes the catch, and now out number 2. It's a pick-me-up for Elledge. And Joey Votto. Votto is 1 for 4. Reached on an air by Goldschmidt, scored in the first, singled in the second, fly to center, and grounded out to third. In ball one. You can see Votto having that conversation just a little bit with Yachty. The mutual respect of two great players. Still talking here. Cardinals will have Miller, O'Neill, and Fowler due up. What do you think those conversations are like in the middle of an at-bat?
I'm wondering, and you don't think of Votto as a real chatty guy either, but of course he and Yachty do understand each other. Played this game at a very high level for a long time.
2-1.
The guy that used to drive me crazy, the late Gary Carter, was the longtime Met catcher. You'd get to the plate, and Gary'd say, "So hey Rick, how you doing? How's your wife? How are the kids? You know, what are you doing?" I mean, it's like, hey, I'm trying to hit here. And he'd want to just have a conversation like you were at a party or something.
2-2.
I wondered whether he was doing that for gamesmanship, but I just think he was just being friendly. Trying to rebuild the Met-Cardinal relationship as best he could.
That wasn't going to happen.
No.
Didn't seem like it.
Not very well.
The 2-2 pitch to Votto. Has not swung the bat yet. Taking pitch after pitch. Well, this is where he was last at bat, Ricky, and to your point, kind of playing pepper.
Yeah, just a little, just kind of stuck the bat out and hit it to the left side of the infield.
So the 3-2 to Joey Votto, and he rips it fair inside the first base line. Off the sidewall, played perfectly by Fowler, couldn't get it out of the glove, and Votto is in safely at second.
That's too bad. He might have had a chance at Votto because he got to the ball quickly enough, and the carom was right to him, and Dexter just couldn't get it out of his glove. It'll go as a double, no question. Rather have him hit his way on. Oh, so close for Goldie. And there's the carom right to Dexter, and then that little bobble.
Yep. So a 2-hit night for Votto, on base for the 3rd time, and Castellanos is 0 for 4. Flied out twice to right and is struck out twice. Fastball and a strike. Velocity a little down as opposed to the debut that we saw with Elledge.
Right.
It's been around 93, and that debut was 95, 96. Yachty looks back as if to say, where's that pitch?
Yeah, he wanted that. Oh, he's politicking for your young pitchers. They can't say anything. They better not.
The 2-1 pitch out of play, and it's 2-2.
Danny, it has been absolutely wonderful to see a game in person.
Totally agree.
We knew it would be hard, and a lot of things are hard this year for a lot of people, but the road games are just different. They're just things you see when you're at the ballpark that you can't see otherwise.
Absolutely.
And we can't wait for fans to come back and see more for themselves.
The 2-2 pitch, Elledge outside, 3-2. Iglesias is hot, ready to go. And on deck it is Winker. Nobody throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Outfield straight away. Votto at second and fouled back. And the conversations for Votto continue out at second base with Wong. The 3-2 pitch picked by Yachty, and that'll be a walk. So the second walk for Elledge to go along with a double by Votto. The pitch count at 22, and now Mike Maddox out to visit, and that may get the Cardinal bullpen up and throwing.
And Votto's still talking.
Oh yeah.
And Colt said, wait a minute, I gotta go to this thing on the mound. So maybe all the social distancing stuff has made Joey Votto a little uncomfortable and is turning him into more of a social animal.
Have you noticed though how some of, and I mean this sincerely, how with some of the mound visits, some of the infielders across Major League Baseball on these types of mound visits, they do keep their distance.
They do. Oh yeah.
And the players are using the canopies down the left and right field lines at the various ballparks. Cardinals have been told that if they are not in games to be wearing a mask.
And if they're not in games, to not be on the bench.
Yep.
I mean, if you have the seats to spread out, why not?
Yep. Here's Winker, who singled to right field, scored a run back in the first, grounded out to first, grounded to second, and flied out to center. Runners at first and second. That's kept in front by Molina. And that is taken high, and he's fallen behind 2-0. They're stretching out in the Cardinals pen, but
no cavalry yet.
No, not yet. And the breaking pitch taken for a strike. Clayton Kershaw with strikeout number 2,486 tonight to tie Don Drysdale, second most in franchise history. Padres with yet another grand slam.
Really?
Eric Hosmer, that's 4 games in a row. First time in Major League history. 3-1 the count. Yachty wanted it there, and they'll load him up. I just wonder if they'd be more comfortable with the way Suarez is swinging the bat. As crazy as it may sound to have the bases loaded with his slider, they've been pitching him away the entire game, and say, look, we'll take our chances with this. And the way that Winker is swinging the bat, came in red hot.
He did.
And say, look, if he beats us, he beats us. But we're going to take our chances with this.
The problem here is you've got a pitcher that's just having a hard time throwing a strike.
I get it.
Would be in a lot more of a jam had Yachty not thrown Galvis out stealing. So it's 3 walks in the inning and a hit, and he hasn't given up a run yet because of that caught stealing, which has certainly helped the cause.
And there's a strike. So a lot of decisions to be thought of in this particular spot. The owner of 3 grand slams in his career and playing with fire here. Suarez, 2 outs, bases loaded, and the 0-1 pitch. Yachty sets up outside, hits his spot, 0-2. The 0-2 pitch fouled back. Inning started with Galvis walking, then he was caught stealing. Barnhart fly to left. Votto doubled on a 3-2 pitch. Castellanos and Winker back-to-back walks. And that's Jankowski now as the pinch runner for Jesse Winker.
Jake Woodford is up and throwing, and let's hope this is just a scare for him. A scare is when you warm up and don't get in the game. So you get scared, but you don't have to pitch, or you don't get to pitch. Let's hope he doesn't.
And the 0-2 pitch taken high, 1-2. Iglesias is warm, and now there is another pitcher that's joined him out there in case they bust this game open. Non-save situation.
On second thought, I wouldn't mind Jake Woodford pitching the 10th.
That's Tyler Thornburg who starts to throw in the Reds pen.
Former Brewer.
The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. So he gets out of it. And coming up, 2-run ball game, Miller, O'Neill, and Fowler. Player of the game, the starter for the Reds tonight, Sonny Gray. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. They both were earned. He walked 4, 6 strikeouts on 99 pitches. Sonny Gray, the Bud Light Seltzer player of the game for the Cincinnati Reds. The flip side, Adam Wainwright, 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 were earned, 4 strikeouts. He finished his night by setting down 15 in a row.
Have to be impressed by Wainwright. Only 11 times in his career has Adam Wainwright retired 15 batters in a row in a game, and one of those times was tonight. Just continues to amaze me, and maybe I shouldn't be amazed anymore at what Wainwright can do. Of course, he's still on the short end of a 4-2 score, and it'd be nice for his teammates to pick him up here in the bottom of the 9th inning, get him off the hook, and have a walk-off phantom high five celebration. Wouldn't that be nice?
Sure would. Here's Miller, then O'Neill and Fowler. Amir Garrett faced Carpenter, struck him out. And now it's Iglesias, the closer.
He hit him.
And now the tying run will be at the plate after Miller is hit by the pitch. He's pointing at his foot, and yeah, he's going to take his base. Hit by pitch.
Well, he knew he was hit because it hurt. There it is. And it hits him on the back foot, just on the toe, maybe. I thought it was a little comical when Dexter Fowler was hit in Chicago and he went down to first, and they said, no, he didn't hit you. And he said, I'm going.
Yeah.
You'll look at it on replay. I'm going down to first. I'll see you in a minute.
It's reviewable, and you're going to see it.
and he did.
Here's O'Neill. It is interesting, you know, you could have kept Garrett in to face Miller. Now
you could have.
You know, you have the 3-batter minimum at that point.
That's right.
You could counter with, if you're Mike Schild, if you wanted to, but you have Fowler, then you turn him around.
I think it's a great point. If you bring Garrett in to face Miller and he hits a triple, let's say, off of Garrett, and now Garrett has to face, because he's come back out, he has to face Tyler O'Neill. 3 total batters over 2 innings. Now, again, if you strike a guy out or end an inning, then it negates that. You don't. But once you come back out, now you've got to face the 3 batters in the appearance, and so I think that they'd come into play in David Bell's mind.
2-2.
It's also why you spread out your lefties and your righties in your lineup. Make those decisions tougher.
I wonder if he flirted with that, or he just says, hey, this is my closer. I want to start him with a clean inning.
Could be that too.
Miller stayed in the game. He's at first, and a 2-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. 3-2 the count. Dexter Fowler on deck. Gets interesting here in this 9th inning with the tying run at the plate. O'Neill certainly with home run power. He draws a walk. Tough take there. Runners at first and second with nobody out.
What patience that Tyler O'Neill showed in that at bat. I mean, a lot of pitches close, including that one, but he's right. 97 sinker was down in the zone, and he was able to see that, lay off of it, and earn the walk. Nice job by Tyler.
So Dexter Fowler here. Fowler is fly to left, grounded out to second and singled. He was swinging on a 3-0 pitch. Excuse me, back in the 6th when he grounded into a double play. And you could tell he was trying to take it to left. And
he had an idea, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And speaking of ideas, Jose Oquendo just came down and had a conversation with Dexter Fowler just to make sure everybody's on the right page in terms of what he's doing here. Jose, nice to have him back.
Secret weapon now of coaching too. Running the satellite camp, and now comes up to coach third. It's strike one. His follower was bunting. Well, it's the age-old question now. Do you want to give away an out potentially with a bunt, or do you want follow to swing?
The Reds are mostly expecting a bunt with Suarez in on the grass.
Votto now coming in at first, outfield straight away. And that is a ball taken high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
All these years and I still can't figure out Oquendo's signs.
The 1-1 pitch to Dexter. Showing bunt, pulled back, takes a ball, 2-1.
He was bunting, then he wasn't, then he was bunting.
The 2-1 pitch. Swinging away, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes on Dexter Fowler. Inning started. Miller hit by a pitch. O'Neill walked on a tough take on 3-2. Now 2-2 on Dexter. 3-2. To your point earlier, way more comfortable it seems like.
Very much so. Some stress for Iglesias.
Pitch number 13 of the inning for Iglesias, and still nobody out. The 3-2 pitch to Fowler. Dexter, base hit into right. Miller will be held up and the bases will be loaded. And nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th. A base hit for Dexter Fowler.
Really good at bats here in the 9th inning. The Cardinals putting a finish on this ball game. Win or lose, they're making it exciting here, and Fowler comes through on a 3-2 pitch and drives it into right field, following a good at bat by Tyler O'Neill. Miller hit by a pitch, and the Cardinals are not going quietly in this one.
Well, Yadier Molina returned to the lineup. Came up with the bases loaded first at bat and singled to right to drive in 2. Can he do it again to tie this game up? There's strike 1 on Molina. Miller, O'Neill, Fowler. Nobody out. Dylan Carlson on deck. Outfield straight away. Votto well off the line at first base. Oh, they're going to ring him up on that on the check swing. 0-2.
I thought it was close. Yadi tried to hold up.
Two strikes on Yadier Molina. The base is loaded, nobody out. Molina off the glove of Iglesias, and everybody is safe. A run will score to make it 4-3, and still nobody out.
All 3 Cardinal RBIs, Yadier Molina on his first game back. And the Reds, who've had trouble with their bullpen, you start to feel it when things don't go your way. You've had trouble. You feel like, uh-oh, is this going to be another problem day for us at the end of a ball game? And there's the good break for the Cardinals, bad break for the Reds. Just off the glove of Iglesias.
Ricky, that's probably a double play.
Of course.
And young Dylan Carlson a chance to tie it up or maybe even win it. He is 0 for 3. He's fly to center, grounded out to first, and struck out, and here in his first week. And that will be a balk. It's called a balk, and a run will score. A balk, and O'Neill will score, and runners at second and third, and nobody out.
Unbelievable. I didn't see him do it, but the Cardinals were yelling balk. The umpires were on it. No argument from the Reds' point of view. And this game has turned on a dime in the bottom of the 9th.
And so Carlson now in a 4-4 game, the infield drawn in, and a shift on the right side. Dylan Carlson a chance to win it.
Boy, I didn't see much on that balk. He flinched his front shoulder a bit, started, and he may have moved his foot. I don't know, but again, no argument for the Reds.
The outfield shallow. Shift on the right side. In the 1-0. He did go. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals were trailing 4-2 coming into this 9th inning, and facing one of the better closers in baseball. Dexter Fowler representing the winning run. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the next to Dylan Carlson. Had him out in front. Colton Wong on deck. 1-2 the count. Outfield shallow. All kinds of room on the left side. And the 1-2 pitch to Dylan Carlson. Taken high.
I would love to see the rookie Dylan Carlson have a big moment right here. First game at Busch Stadium.
Yep. The 2-2 pitch. Three and 2 the count. Dylan Carlson a chance to win it. Struck him out. So he waves at it. Strikeout of Carlson. 0 for 4 tonight. And it brings in Colton Wong. And let's see how they want to play this. Castellanos will come in on the infield, it looks like. They'll have 2 outfielders. And they're going to bring in another reliever to face Wong and maybe load him up. Be Nate Jones with Wong coming up. That's it for Iglesias. The Cardinals have tied it up. It's 4-4 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. There's Chevy called to the pen.
So these two have not faced each other. Wong with a chance to win it. 5 Cincinnati Reds on the infield. as they bring Castellanos in. So Colton Wong's job is to hit it into the outfield because there's only 2 guys out there. Now first base is open, but if you're the Reds, do you want to face Wong and try to get him to hit the ball on the ground or pop it up and then Edman, or do you want to face Edman and Goldschmidt? So I think they're going to go ahead and pitch to Colton Wong. You're probably not going to double up Edman anyway, so you bring the infield in and hope for the best.
Winning run down at third. That is Dexter Fowler. They're trying to keep him as close as they can at third, about a step off the bag. That's ball 1, nearly to the backstop. Three infielders on the right side. The 1-0 pitch to Colton Wong. 2-0.
He's rushing it up there, but it is up there. Those 2 pitches about neck high. He's hoping for the pop-up.
Wong hoping for his 5th career walk-off with the St. Louis Cardinals. The 2-0 pitch.
Oh, good hack there.
The 4 walk-offs for Colton Wong all have been home runs. The 2-1 pitch to Wong. Wong with a fly ball, and this will do it. A drive into deep right field. Good night. Colton Wong walks it off. Dexter Fowler trotting to the plate. 5-4. The Cardinals win it.
And I love the celebration. Social distanced, but a lot of passion in it. Colton Wong comes through. What an ending for the Cardinals. First game back after a 500 road trip, and what a start today. Adam Wainwright off the hook. He gave this team a chance to win. Adam Wainwright still showed the way, Danny.
The Cardinals pick up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th, and they beat the Cincinnati Reds by the final of 5-4. What a way to start this homestand. 5-4 the final, and a lot more coming up. The Cardinals win it 5-4. Wong the walk-off against the Reds.